So in 2 days, we've heard from two people fighting for help after separate fires damaged their apartments. Both struggled to get action, they say, from their landlords.
And tonight, we're taking a closer look at the issue and the resources available, as well as those areas that are still lacking. Well, last night, we shared Magali Cordoza's story. She said the fire at her Olathe apartment left her with two choices: either break her lease or deal with the smoke damage left behind. New tonight, less than 24 hours after our report, she says the apartment managers are now moving her into a new unit. And today we're looking at a similar situation on the Missouri side.
So once again, a viewer reached out to us looking for help, and we were able to get her son, including pointing her to an entity in Kansas City that investigates these types of claims. It's the Healthy Homes Inspection Program. It was formed to protect tenants by ensuring, quote, minimum health and safety standards are met in rental units, end quote. It's actually part of the city's health department. Once a complaint is made, an investigator will get involved. While this can hold landlords responsible for making necessary repairs, it doesn't necessarily get tenants out of their leases.
You know, the program also doesn't guarantee tenants assistance while the complaint is being investigated, and that can leave some renters in limbo.
That was certainly the case for one Kansas City mom I talked to. She has 2 kids and twins on the way. They were all forced out of their home almost 2 months ago because of a fire.
My apartment is right here at the top, on the 3rd floor, on the right-hand side.
The Lindale Apartments in Kansas City have been home to Chastity Williams and her 2 children for about 8 months. But on February 13th, a fire at the back of her building damaged the electrical system, leaving them and other tenants without power. That's when she says the property manager, Premier Property, asked tenants to evacuate till they could make repairs. However, almost 2 months later, and those repairs still haven't been made, meaning Williams hasn't been able to return home. To make matters worse, when she went back a couple weeks ago to collect some of her belongings, she found some of her shoes strewn about the hallway and a hole cut in her front door. Once inside, she realized her apartment had been trashed and anything of value had been stolen.
Anything that they wanted, they took out of there. From my bedroom, my kids' room, the bathroom, the kitchen. This is not home for me no more. It was taken from me and my children. This is not home.
Williams tells us she repeatedly asked her property manager to let her out of her lease early, claiming the company stopped responding to her calls and texts. That's something Premier Property denied when the I-team reached out. However, within an hour of our phone call to the company, Williams did receive a text message approving her early move-out. The company also refunded some of the rent money she'd paid in advance.
That representative we spoke to on the phone said that they've been unable to get the necessary parts to repair the electrical system due to supply chain issues. Meanwhile, for Williams, she said initially she panicked, not knowing where she would stay, but finally she was able to find a family member to stay with.
But according to Josh Henges, the Kansas City Homeless Prevention Coordinator, these types of scenarios can lead to homelessness.
And it happens more frequently than you think. She's not prepared emotionally, mentally, physically in any way to hit the streets, and it's no place for anyone. And we're talking about someone with 2 kids and 2 on the way. This is a really serious situation.
So what can you do if this happens to you? Well, if you're in Section 8 housing, you can take your concerns to the Housing Authority.
And if it's an emergency situation, for instance, no power, no gas, no water, or other aspects, that landlord has 24 hours to correct the situation. Otherwise, we stop paying.
Meanwhile, for Kansas City tenants like Williams who aren't in subsidized housing, you can make complaints to the Healthy Homes Inspection Program. But as Henges notes, while you're waiting for that complaint to be investigated, there's no one entity you can turn to for help. It's something he hopes to soon change by setting up a single access point for those in need.
So although Williams is relieved she told me to be moving somewhere else, she let her rental insurance lapse. That means she has no way to replace all of those items that were stolen in that robbery from her apartment. She's still waiting to hear the outcome of the investigation into that property.
Just think about her and those kids.
Her kids,
wow.
too.
I got to clarify here. You know, can any tenant in Kansas City request an inspection through this program, through the Healthy Homes Inspection Program?
So you can't if you're HUD or if you are Section 8, because there are other avenues for that. But otherwise, yes, any tenant in Kansas City can. So if you do have concerns about your living conditions, you can make a complaint online, you can make a complaint by phone, or you can actually go to a brick and mortar location to do it in person.